Those who own XRP should buckle up, because we are now looking straight at the moment we've been waiting for. Analysts are calling this the big step forward. There is no time in the future or next year. It is now. The last battle between bulls and bears is coming up in this quarter and into Q4 2025. If you've been keeping an eye on the charts, liquidity, institutions, and policy changes, you know what's coming. Now is the time for the bulls to take over and take XRP and the whole crypto market to a whole new level. Everything is set up for the escape we've all been waiting for. The players are already moving, and the stage is set. This is not advice about money. Let's get right to it. This is the current price of XRP, which is 3.09. Bitcoin is above $116,000. Ethereum is heading back to its all-time high, and BNB has already broken through $920. With an 8% jump just today, Dogecoin has gone back up to 0.27 for the first time in months. The fact that the market is green everywhere tells us one easy thing. We are a long way from the happy ending that normally comes at the end of these cycles. We are instead seeing a mix of accumulation and momentum, which is very bad for bears because it leads to higher highs, bigger breakouts, and more aggressive flows of money coming in. Make sure to check out the Ultimate Millionaire Investor Guide. Find 100 times stocks in the comment that is saved below this video if you really want to get ready for the next big move. A lot of useful information is in it. It's easy to find documents, pictures, movies, and other things. This is the place to be if you want to get ahead of the market before the next part starts. Let's go back to XRP. Analysts have been saying that this was bound to happen. XRP exchange-traded funds have already been filed for, so it's not a matter of if they'll be approved, but when. Mason Varoulis and other market experts have been saying that when Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs were allowed in 2024, it made it clear what everyone else should do. That's not where institutions will stop. XRP has one of the best institutional cases of any digital asset. Its demand is growing, and so is its liquidity. The ETFs are the way in, and as soon as the go-ahead is given, XRP's liquidity changes overnight. But here's the thing. In a sense, the breakout has already started. If you look at the charts, you can see that XRP has left its holding phase for good. For months, price action was stuck in that range that was getting narrower and narrower. But as with every cycle, that compression makes room for growth. CW and other chart experts are already pointing out that XRP has broken out of that wedge and is now making a new trend line that goes up. What did they expect? If the price stays above 4.40, it will be a new all-time high. Once momentum takes over, growth will be exponential, and everyone in the community knows it. So you can't miss what's going on with trading volume right now. There were more than $5.7 billion worth of trades in XRP in just the last 24 hours. That's not a store. That much cash can't be moved that quickly by retail. That is money moving into places ahead of what they know is going to happen. Those are whales, institutions, and big players. Take a look at history. This exact same situation has happened before. Before every big parabola leg, the smart money gets in early, volume goes through the roof, the breakout happens, and then a lot of regular people come in at higher prices. This is exactly why experts say people who own XRP should buckle up. The fear and greed measure is still not moving right now. That's really big. Because XRP wasn't even close to this strong when people were very greedy in late 2024, when Bitcoin's price first went above $100,000. We still reached that level of extreme greed though. Even though XRP is stronger, there is more liquidity, ETFs are ready, and institutions are going in, people still don't feel strongly about it. That means the market has a very long way to go before it gets too hot. Going neutral today means taking off tomorrow. When we talk about past settings, think about this. BTC prices went over 100,000 for the first time in November 2024, right after Donald Trump was elected. That was the peak, according to everyone. But we only got a taste of extreme greed for about a month. After that, the Fed changed its rate policy to be more hawkish, which was a big surprise. Now, years later, we have the exact opposite. For the first time in years, Jerome Powell is a dovish politician. The world's liquidity is almost at an all-time high, and banks are pleading for clarity so they can increase their crypto positions. It's not a bearish situation there. In that kind of setting, assets like XRP reach prices that people didn't think were possible. And let's not forget where it falls. There is already a lot of Bitcoin in the world. Ethereum is now back to where it was before. But XRP, it's still more than 20% below. That gap will close, and when it does, money will flow into XRP, which will drive it up. As a reminder, XRP is still the third most valuable cryptocurrency by market cap. It has one of the best world use cases and the most passionate community behind it. Bitcoin maxes can talk all day about decentralization, but XRP has built itself into the institutional trains of the future. That's why it could go up in value much more than BTC or ETH. Now what do? Easy. Analysts now think that XRP will go over $440 in the next few months. In the middle term, they think it will go much higher. A market value of $500 billion or even $1 trillion before the end of the year, which would put XRP close to $20. Those numbers did not just appear out of thin air. They are determined by the flow of money, the possibility for ETFs, the adoption by institutions, and past cycle patterns. And it all makes sense when you zoom out. We always think these assets can't go as high as they can. Every time we question the math. And every time we see that reality is better than we thought it would be. The setup is better now than it was in 2017 or 2021 though. BlackRock, Fidelity, and iTrust Capital all offer institutional custody options that make it easier than ever for big players to safely split their money. We have money moving around the world. The Federal Reserve is following a dovish policy. ETFs are ready to go. One more important thing is that the price is breaking out right now, not later. You start to understand something very important when you zoom out and look at the whole market system. Today, XRP is in the same place Bitcoin was before it broke through the famous $20,000 mark in 2017, and again before it broke through the $69,000 mark in 2021. These events are not random. There are cycles in the markets, and the same trends keep happening because the people who trade in them don't change. Right now, XRP is winding up and building up its power. When it rips hard. That's why experienced analysts are telling people who own XRP to buckle up, since you don't have much time to respond once momentum starts to build. The next step will be deadly, and anyone who stands in its way will be left behind. The facts are clear. The volume is going up, a lot of money is coming in, and all of our indicators like RSI, MACD, and moving averages are showing bullish. We're seeing this happen even before ETFs are confirmed, more governmental clarity is gained, and retail mania really starts. If this is how XRP looks before the rush, just think what will happen when the rush starts. Just looking at the math shows that exponential growth is not only possible, but very likely. A lot of people also forget this. XRP has always been slow to catch on in the past. After Bitcoin, Ethereum comes next. Finally, XRP wakes up and makes the biggest moves in the fastest amount of time. That design keeps coming back. There are 3 cryptocurrencies that are still behind, XRP is still behind, while Ethereum is almost at its all-time high. Lag behind doesn't mean weak, though. When it comes to crypto, lagging means getting ready for a huge move to catch up, and XRP doesn't move by small amounts when it does that. It goes in groups of two. Right now, think about how investors think. A lot of them see Bitcoin at $116,000 and feel like they missed it. They see Ethereum getting close to its all-time high and wonder if there's any more juice left. Where does that money turn? Into the asset that is still worth less than its peers. That's XRP. It has a well-known name, enough cash on hand, and the right structure. XRP is the clear choice for traders and companies that want to put their money into an asset that could still double, triple, or more in value from where it is now. In fact, that's why billions are already coming in every day. Let's talk about things that are driving growth besides ETFs and institutions. It's possible that the macro situation is the most bullish it's been in decades. It's important to stress that the Federal Reserve is becoming less strict. As rates go down, even small ones like 25 basis points, risk on investments goes through the roof. And crypto, especially XRP, does very well when people are willing to take risks. Also, the amount of money in circulation around the world is at an all-time high. This makes a rocket ship ready to take off. The money has to go somewhere, and it's not all going to the stock market. Asymmetric profits are what investors want, and crypto gives them just that. A technical point of view backs it up. Check out the charts for the week. XRP has now broken through important moving averages that it hadn't been able to do in months. The breakout of consolidation wasn't a fluke, it happened for real. And the way to $4.40 is clear as soon as the weekly close shows that it is above $3.09 and keeps going up. After that, the amounts of resistance drop off a lot. This is the reason why experts aren't afraid to say $8, $12, or even $20 in this cycle. They are not speculating. They are looking at the flows, charts, and macro settings. The power of the XRP community is another thing that doesn't get enough attention. This isn't just another symbol that not many people like. One of the most active and strong groups in all of crypto is for XRP. That's important. When things are unstable, strong groups stop people from selling in a panic. They make you believe. They make good momentum stronger. They also get interest from people outside the group who see how strong it is and want to join. That effect on the community has always been one of the best things about XRP. It will show up again in this run. It's also seen by institutions. Take a look at parenting options. BlackRock and Fidelity didn't just choose to offer crypto security services for fun. Trust Capital didn't make high-end custody funds that will never be used. They know that people want XRP and think it is one of the most important investments that investors want to have safe access to. Institutions don't waste money on things they don't trust. Trust is shown by the infrastructure that is being built. And when ETFs go live, that trust turns into billions of dollars coming in. Another thing to think about, XRP isn't just a risky investment. It's made to be useful in the real world for things like cross-border payments, liquidity solutions, and quick settlement. People in banks and other financial institutions all over the world are already trying it out. This isn't some fake joke coin that lives off of hype. In a market worth trillions of dollars, this product has a real use case. This story about utility gives long-term growth even more backing. When XRP is used to settle a trade, it shows that it is more than just a trade. It's a tool. There will always be tools that can help you solve big problems. They get bigger. We also need to think about the psychology of the market in a bigger picture way. From time to time, some investments shock the market. It was Ethereum in 2017. It was Solana in 2021. This time, XRP looks like it will be the shockwave currency. Why? because it has the right amount of underperformance, huge potential drivers, and good fundamentals. There's no denying the setting. Traders love stories, and right now, XRP has the best one. Clear rules, the acceptance of an ETF, institutional adoption, and a breakout chart. That's a story that Wall Street can tell their clients. After they do that, everything starts to flow. Switching between different types of cash is also important. During bull markets, money moves in waves from one product to another. First there is Bitcoin, then Ethereum, then majors like XRP, and finally the altcoin craze. Phases 1 and 2 are already here. First it was Bitcoin, then Ethereum, and now XRP. That's why experts are so sure that the breakout is coming soon. It's not just about XRP, it's about the whole cycle beat. And now it's XRP's turn. Also, let's not forget about the strategic side. Countries all over the world are speeding up the use of digital assets. It's more important than ever for cross-border payments to be quick and easy. Central banks are testing CBDCs and financial institutions are adding blockchain lines. XRP is where all of those things meet. In fact, it was made to solve those issues. XRP is ready to be used when institutions and governments are pushed to use better technology. No other cryptocurrency has that kind of edge. In the short run, where does this leave us? Everyone agrees that Ford 40 is the first big goal. A clean break to a new all-time high would happen at that point. That's not all though. After some time, price discovery takes over. The top is ripped off in price discovery. That's why estimates of 8 totals to $20 are not only likely, but might even be too low. With a value of $1 trillion coming up, XRP could surprise even the most optimistic predictions. When you think that sounds too harsh, remember what happened in the past. In every cycle before this one, assets have done things that seemed impossible at the time. In 2017, Bitcoin went from $1,000 to $20,000. In 2021, Ethereum will go from $80 to $4,800. In 1 year, Solana went from $1 to over $250. Right now, XRP is set up to be that story. It's the ideal choice. Put that together with the macro scene. With rate drops, a dovish policy, high levels of global liquidity, and institutional demand, the case is made. This isn't just guesswork without any evidence. This is just a guess. But all the big signs point to a breakout. That's why experts keep making the same point. People who own XRP, you need to buckle up. After this rocket takes off, you don't want to be there to see it go without you. The best part? We are still early in terms of how people feel. If the fear and greed measure is neutral, it means that retail hasn't even come yet. The parabolic phase starts when store sales start coming in. At the moment, smart money is still building up and whales are still setting up. When a lot of retail comes in at once, prices go over everyone's standards. When that happens, the news goes from doubt to happiness. It's something we've seen before and will see again. Markets always go farther than most people think they can. Every time there is a cycle, buyers set mental limits. Bitcoin rips to $20,000, even though people say it can't go above $10,000. Some people say Ethereum can't go above $1,000, but it goes through the roof to $4,800. Some people think XRP can't go above $5, $8, or $10 this cycle. That being said, those walls aren't real. You can do anything in price discovery. Liquidity and demand are the only things that can stop XRP from going through the roof. The picture of demand is better now than it has ever been. Institutions care about this issue, not just are interested in it. People really want XRP now that there are custody solutions in place, ETFs are waiting to be approved, And banks are talking freely about blockchain settlement rails. Retail isn't fully awake yet, but when it does, it will add fuel to a fire that's already going. It is precisely this mix of institutional roots and retail mania on top of them that causes parabolic moves. And there is more money than ever before in the world. It's not squeezing. Central banks are loosening up. Rates are going down because the Fed wants to. Capital is cheap and buyers want to make bets that aren't fair either way. Those huge wins can't happen anymore on the stock market. Bonds can't do that at all. Blockchain is the only market where moves of 5 times, 10 times, or even 20 times are still possible. And among crypto assets, XRP has made a name for itself as one of the best ones for providing those multiples. The charts back it up. The weekly trend has changed to be strong. The RSI is going up, but it's still not close to being overbought. MACD has turned positive, which confirms that the trend has changed. Moving averages used to be barriers, but now they're support. The volume is going up. These are not signs that you are tired. These are signs of fire. Traders and banks know it, and people who use XRP have been waiting years for this exact situation to happen. Also, let's not forget about the psychological side. Lawyers' fees, unclear rules, and non-stop fake news have kept XRP from growing for years. That kept prices low and kept many investors away. But now that regulations are clear, ETFs have been filed, and institutions are on board, that lid has finally been lifted. That energy that has been building up is about to be let out, and the end result will be very dangerous. The breakout of an asset is more likely to be violent the longer it has been held back. XRP is a great example. In the grand scheme of things, XRP is positioned to be the late bloomer that pays off the most. Bitcoin has already moved. Ethereum does the same thing. However, XRP has not yet reached its peak. When it does, it will be stronger and faster than almost all other major cryptocurrencies. Because of this, a lot of experienced traders say now is the time to hold on. You might miss the biggest part of the move if you sell too early, try to time small moves, or get bored and stop paying attention. In the past, XRP's best runs have been short waves that last only a few weeks. In just a few weeks in 2017, XRP went from 20 cents to over $3. That move was worth 15 times. Now that XRP is worth $3, even a small part of that amount quickly puts it in the double digits. And because of the historical background, this run could be much better than the last one. Analysts already say that $8 is a reasonable midterm goal and $20 is a likely high point for this cycle. Some even say even more if there is a lot of money coming in, like there was with Bitcoin in 2021. Think about what that means in terms of market value. If XRP was worth $20, it would be worth close to $1 trillion. That number makes XRP more than just a speculative asset. It makes it a key part of the world's financial system. The truth is that the basics back it up. It makes sense to use it, people are already doing it, and institutions already have the right tools in place. The only thing that's missing is for the prices to catch up. That's exactly what's going on right now. For now, opinion is still not being looked at. There aren't any big news stories about XRP yet. It's not something that CNBC hosts talk about every day. That means the hype cycle is still young. XRP will be worth a lot more by the time it makes the front page of every financial news site. The positioning part is going on right now. The mania part comes after. And history shows that people who take a stand during neutrality do well during mania. Competition is another thing to think about. People talk a lot about Bitcoin and Ethereum, but neither of them solves the problem of how to pay across borders like XRP does. Bitcoin is like real gold. Ethereum runs the whole world. XRP makes it possible to send money between countries. Lots of very large amounts of money are at stake in that use case. As more businesses use blockchain, XRP comes out as the fastest, most liquid, and most well-known way to settle transactions. It's not just talk, it has a useful benefit that no other object can match. The government is aware of this benefit. The SEC case against Ripple was once seen as a death sentence, but it has now turned out to be a gift. After going through that process and coming out on top, XRP now has a legal basis, which is something that many other assets don't have. Institutions can then act without worrying about being punished for things that happened in the past. It's funny that the case that was meant to kill XRP has actually made it stronger. That's another good thing about this cycle. After this, where do we go? For now, it's easy to see where the breakout goals are. $4.40, then $5, then $8. Prices start to move when those levels fall. And $12, $15, or even $20 become possible. There will be changes along the way. It's always there. But it's clear what the bigger picture is. This is a traditional setup. The triggers are in the right place, the money is moving around freely, and the pace is growing. This is why the experts say it over and over again. People who own XRP, you need to buckle up. Don't get sidetracked right now. Now is not the time to doubt. Now is the time to see the setup for what it is. The chance that comes with the cycle. This is the last thing I want to say. Every cycle has one element that makes it what it is. Bitcoin went over $20,000 in 2017. It was Ethereum and the rise of DeFi in 2021. There are a lot of signs that XRP will be that story in 2025. The acceptance of ETFs, the breakout charts, the demand from institutions, and the background of global liquidity all point to XRP being the star of this bull run. And when history is written, the people who stayed in their seats through the noise will be the ones who talk about what they saw. Don't blink, because this is already happening. Read The Ultimate Millionaire Investor Guide. Find 100 times stocks in the comment below that has been pinned if you want to learn more about how to set yourself up for 100 times chances. There are a lot of tools there that can help you get better. Also, if you haven't already, use my link to Robinhood to get free NVDA stocks with a $1 payment.